And Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, still people are there. The oldest form of Buddhism. All lady persons in this, they are sub-gods. No, only one, Tara. Okay. No. Now, what is the way you get in Buddhism? How do you get nirvana? In Buddhism, how do you get nirvana? The Ashtang Marg, which is eightfold path. Nibbana and Ashtang Marg. Very good. That your desire is gone and you go the eightfold path. But isn't it irritating? Meditate, write this, write that, the standard. And very quickly, a group within Mahayanic Buddhism became frustrated by Mahayanic Buddhism itself. And they developed a new concept which is called Vajrayanic Buddhism. Vajrayanic means thunderbolt. And Vajrayanic said, what's the point? Let's do Tantra, Mantra and Yantra. And let's make Tara our main god. If we will worship her, she will give us success, and that success is moksha. So basically, Tantricism, when it starts to rise in the Indian subcontinent, Mahayanic Buddhism absorbs Tantricism and a lot of Hinduistic practices and develops its new idea called Vajrayanic. Vajrayanic is an offshoot of Mahayanic. It comes out of Mahayanic. The most simplest is Hinayanic. Vajrayan, main deity is Tara, combines Brahmanical rituals with Buddhist philosophy. Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, superiority, faster vehicle. You just need to use tantric rituals. And this is very common in most of the monks which you see in Ladakh, Arunachal Pradesh, that whole monastery sector of India, all are Vajrayanic Buddhists. So the simple point is, the people who follow random people on YouTube saying that just do this, you will get UPSC. That is Vajrayanic. That Tantra Mantra kar lo, this is the trick, do this, leave ancient medieval, don't do this chapter, do that, this, that. Okay. And worship to me, that is Tara. Topper strategy. They are called the Vajrayanic Buddhists of UPSC. Simple point is, Mahayanic was okay, which is Buddha is God. Vajrayanic Buddhist said Buddha is God and all, we don't care. We want moksha and we don't want to do this meditation and good right and no. Tantra Mantra karenge and we will get very quickly, we will get moksha. So when Tantricism enters Mahayanic, it becomes Vajrayanic. Any issue? Because then I discuss Hinayanic and then we go towards Jainism. Jainism is a very small section, not very big. Vajrayanic is a way complete derailed essence. Yeah, it totally. Mahayanic has already derailed it. Buddha never talked about worshipping him. That is why the only people who were really true to Buddha were the Hinayanic. They always used to say that Buddha is a good teacher, not a god. And we will meditate and do disciplined work and we will get nirvana. And Ananya, I know Sita Patra is a she, but that is a very totally subsidiary god. Main gods, I'm saying. 3 main, 3 further. Sita Patra within Mahayanic only. Bodhisattvas within Mahayanic. Now, Hinayanic Buddhists, what they do, they worship Buddha or they, in a way, revere Buddha through his symbols. Snake, deer, the chhatra, the lotus flower, the dharma chakra, the stupa, and the 3 ratnas. They are the ones who say that, okay, Buddha was all good, but he was not a god himself. He was like us, a teacher. He's a good teacher. Now, before I go to Jainism, these are the subsects. Now, there are 18 subsects of Buddhism and 5 of Jainism. Which should we learn? Which should we learn? 5 or 18? 5. And that is what we are going to do also. Now, very simply, I want to consolidate Buddhism for you before I go to Jainism. And the idea is very simple. Buddhism, Siddhartha's story, 3 Ratnas, 4 noble truths, 8-fold path. I have told you certain terms. Then I have told you 4 councils. 2 in books, 2 in split. Mahayanic, Buddha is God, Bodhisattva and idol worship. Hinayanic, symbols, Buddha is teacher. Vajrayanic is a frustration out of Mahayanic itself, which is Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Tara. If we are clear about all of this, then we move. I'll give you a breather here. I'll give you a 5-minute break because I don't want you to explode. Then I want 15 minutes of proper concentration. Can I do that? 20 minutes of proper concentration. Jainism, I'm giving you 5-minute break here. So we start at 8:10 again, and I want 20 minutes of proper concentration. Right? Okay. This is the only module which is like this. After this, we go back to political history. Tomorrow we talk about Alexander's invasion. So don't worry about this. Okay. 8:10. Ratnas 4 8-fold path. Okay. Anurag, that is already that's a very gray area. They talk about life energy, they don't talk about properly soul, they don't talk about rebirth, but later rebirth will also emerge. Buddhism is that way contradictory in that area. Now, 4 noble truth, दुख है, दुख हटा सकते हो, कैसे हटाओगे? 8-fold path. Okay. There is dukh, how do you remove it? You can remove it, 8-fold path. Okay, now the word Jainism, it emerges from the word Jina. Now the people who follow Jina is called Jain. Jain is the follower of Jina. Then what is the Jina? Jina is the enlightened one with infinite knowledge. Infinite knowledge. Knowledge beyond exception, knows how you would get enlightened and how you would get moksha. There's one more word which is there, Tirthankara. Tirthankara. Also a word used for Jina. And the word Tirthankar refers to a person or Jina who helps you cross the river of sorrow. So it's called a Tirthankar. In the ocean of suffering, he knows how to take you to the other side. So Jina is the one who knows how to get moksha, infinite knowledge. And Tirthankar is the one who's called a ford builder. Ford is basically a geographical term. It's a geography term for a shallow part in water body. If there's a water body, there's a shallow part where you can cross it. And that is basically called a Tirthankar. The one who builds the bridge in the ocean of suffering itself. Now, with Jainism, there's a very interesting thing. When I say Jainism to you, what is the first thing which comes to your mind? When I say Jainism to you, who is the first person who comes to your mind? Mahavira? Now, there's a difference. Jainism philosophy and Jainism religion. The first person to give Jainism philosophy or Jain philosophy is Rishabhnath. He is the first Tirthankara. Then thereafter, there were 22 other Tirthankars. 22 other Tirthankars. From Ajita to Sambhava. Do not learn this. Do not learn. But the 23rd Tirthankar, Parsavnath, developers, Parsavnath was succeeded by a person called Mahavira, who is the 24th Tirthankar. Now, basically, they are Jina to Jina. First Jina, Rishabhnath. Then, after that, a whole series of Jinas came, which is Ajita, Sambhava, Abhinanda, Sumata, this and that. Then comes Nami, Nemi, Parsavnath. The last 24th is Mahavira. Now, Mahavira should be succeeded by somebody? Yes or no? Mahavira should be succeeded by somebody. Yes, but nobody came. And therefore, Mahavira institutionalized the religion into Jainism. Now, you try to understand this point. Philosophy is developed by Rishabhnath, but he does not create a religion. A religion is created by Mahavir. So, Jina first is Rishabhnath, Parsavnath comes, Parsavnath is succeeded by a person called Mahavira, Vardhaman Mahavir. Vardhaman Mahavir saw that the next Tirthankar is not coming only. So, if the next Tirthankar is not coming, Jain philosophy needed to become a religion. And therein, the one who established Jainism as a religion was Vardhaman Mahavir, which means that Mahavir was the contemporary of Buddha. So the Jain religion emerges during Buddhism. But is the Jain philosophy older, equal to, or younger than Buddhism? It is older. It is a very important point. Jain philosophy means that it is much, much, much older than Buddhism, but was never institutionalized into a religion. Meaning, Buddha and Jain are at the same point. Buddha and Mahavira are contemporaries to each other. But Buddhism, Buddha is the first one and the last one. However, in Jainism, Mahavira is not the first one, is the last one. And there were 23 Tirthankars before him. As a religion, both birth is the same. Their birth as religions is the same. Philosophy-wise, Jainism is older. Half of the students get confused here only. Why did 25th not come? Not my problem. That is Jain's problem, not mine. That is of no purpose to me, and I really don't care. So, very simple point is, if they say who is the founder of Jain philosophy, the answer is philosophy is Rishabhnath. Who is the founder of Jain religion? Mahavira. Beautiful. Perfect. First Tirthankar Rishabhnath, 24 were there. Now the story goes like this. We have no idea about the first 23. We just know that Neminath was in the Gujarat sector. Parsavnath was in the Banaras sector. We only know about Mahavira properly. And all of these Tirthankars are linked to their symbols also. And Mahavira uses the word lion. They uses the symbol lion. Now, what is the story of Vardhaman Mahavir? Like Buddha, he was born at Kundagrama in Vaishali to Siddharth and Trishala. Now, two people can have the same name. Buddha is not the father of Vardhaman Mahavir. Right? So please don't email me saying that, sir, Siddharth is the father of Vardhaman Mahavir. Siddharth was the name of Buddha. So it means that Buddha is the father of Mahavira. No. There can be two people with the same name. There are crores of Abhishek Mishras in this world, Abhisheks in this world, Rahuls, Priyas in this world. So the same thing. So he was born to Trishala and Siddhartha. Gautam Buddha and Buddha 111. Does no one want to become 25th? That I have no idea. Banna chahte the, nahi chahte the. What is the issue? Do they want to? They don't want to? I have no idea. Now, the pure Jain philosophy, I have no purpose for that. He had a married life. Again, 1 year after Buddha abandoned his family, he will abandon at 30. Wander for 12 years. 13th year, he will become Jina when yes, Sulakshana, when he will get supreme knowledge, get supreme knowledge, and under the Sal tree, he will get enlightenment. Yes? Yes, okay. Now, his main area is Kosala, Magadha, Champa, and Mithila. And he will die of what is called as euthanasia, partial, what is called voluntary euthanasia, which is called Salekhana at Pava in 468, same period as Buddha dies. Now, Salekhana is basically you go into meditation, stop eating, take a samadhi, and then die of starving. Now, the last thing which I will say to you very clearly is, and very important, very simple, straightforward. Jainism is a very, very difficult religion to follow. Mahavira, Vardhaman Mahavir, same person. Jainism is a very, very, very difficult religion to follow. Very difficult. That is why Jainism was never, except for Chandragupta Maurya, no other person followed Jainism as a ruler. Because Jains are very clear about two things: ahimsa and their principles. So there are three ratnas of Buddhism, which was Buddha, his teaching, and Sangha. There are three ratnas also here also, which say you have to have the right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Which is, right faith means faith in the Jina. Right knowledge means knowledge about the what you have to attain, and that can only come when you have right conduct. But the most difficult thing which the Jains do, which nobody can follow except for the monks itself, is first is that they talk about inner purification, which is called self-penance. They punish themselves to remove sin or dosh. And according to them, karma equals to sin. Meaning, whatever karma you did before you became a Jain is a sin, is a dosh, and you have to inner purify. Self-penance. They punish themselves to purify themselves. And that is why you would see that the monks and the nuns take 5 major Vows. Vow means promises. Not to injure anybody, ahimsa. Not to ever say a lie. Not to take what is not theirs. To always not marry. And also not to say anything is theirs. Now you tell me one thing. Would any king be able to follow all of this? Not to injure anybody irrespective of anything, which is ahimsa. The biggest, and no politician can ever not utter any falsehood. So very simply, the Panch Mahavrat, the Panch 5 vows are considered the most difficult in the world to follow. And they are literally uncompromising on violence. They will never, ever give up on non-violence. Whilst Buddhism is very flexible. Okay, non-violence, maybe not eat animals. But here it is properly non-violence to no one. And the reason for which Jainism is generally known for is the concept of soul. According to Jainism, every object, every particle, every thing has a soul. Has a soul. The reason why they don't do ahimsa, the reason why they talk about not uttering falsehood, this is the rules of the monks. If you want to become a Jain monk, you have to follow these 5 things. But even as a Jain, you have to follow multiple rules. According to them, every object, every particle, everything has a soul, and they divide it into different levels. One are the gods, the other is humans. Then there are the particles, small particles, hell beings, and animals and plants. And that is why Jains vows mean promise. That is why Jains don't eat, are strictly vegetarian. And within vegetarianism also, they don't touch certain plants which are believed to be the rooty plants. The plants which have roots, which are born under the surface of the earth, they believe that if you are taking them out of the earth, you are doing violence on them. That is why onion and garlic they don't take. Even potatoes they will avoid. Because any plant which is under the surface, they believe you are ripping the roots out of it. So basically, if you are a Jain follower, anything which has more than 2 senses, what are the senses? Hearing, touch, feel, this, that. In more than 2 senses, you cannot do it. And a renunciant, a person who is a monk, he cannot do it any further because anything which has sense, he can't eat it. Rice and wheat don't come under the ground. Shabir, I think you've not seen how rice and wheat come. Rice and wheat are standing crops. Khet dekho, khet. So what monks eat? They eat rice, wheat, anything which is above the ground. They will never eat anything under the ground. They will never eat under the ground. Simple point. Onion, groundnuts, potato, anything. We are not here to judge the Jains. The basic point is Jains are very, very particular about one thing, non-violence. And they believe non-violence should be done to nobody. To nobody. And that is why the monks are so very disciplined that Jains were even before COVID-19, they were the first to wear mupattis or masks, because they believe that Jain monks cannot inhale the smaller bacteria or smaller particles also, because that is also violence on them. So the fact of the matter is, and this is the point, I will stop here because Digambar, Shwetambar I'll do tomorrow, and then we'll go into Alexander's invasion. What I have to discuss with you is very simple 3 things. First point is Buddhism. I hope everybody is clear. Yes. Why we have very small Jain followers? Because Jainism is very hard to follow. We are clear about that. Jainism, we've discussed only two things. Jain philosophy is Rishabhnath. Jain religion is Mahavira. We've also discussed why they're called Jains, because they follow Jina. We also understood the core philosophy. 5 vrats, 5 vows, 5 promises, which is that if you have to become a monk, you have to follow all of these things. You have to follow these things. You have to not say a lie. You don't have to injure anybody. You have to not steal anything. You have to always remain celibate, which is not marry, and do not possess anything and own anything. For them, it's a very generally it is a hard religion to follow for the people, because they attribute everything to a soul, and because they attribute everything to a soul, their followers have to not also do violence on certain plants, because plants have senses, and therefore even a Jain follower and a Jain monk, hardest to do. Jains do marry because the monks don't marry. The layman followers marry. There is a difference between a monk and a person who follows a monk. So Jains obviously do marry, and because they are so clear about non-violence, that is why most of the merchant communities went to Jainism. Because if you look at it, Jainism is very straightforward. No violence, simple, straightforward, good life. With this, we stop here. Tomorrow we come back and talk about Digambar, Shwetambar and the 5 sects. Our story with religion is going to be done. And we will then go to Alexander's invasion, Maurya, Ashokan, Dhamma is going to be the last topic we'll do tomorrow. Done? They don't buy anything of their own. Mostly no. If one person can marry, he can't become monk. Yes. He has to give up. If you're a monk, you cannot marry. There are 3 Tirthankars or followers, Jina or no, they attain enlightenment in themselves. The enlightenment comes to them separately. It's not they're followers of each other. What are the ways they punish themselves? Don't eat. They fast quite a lot. They meditate in very harsh conditions. As it is, the vrats are very difficult to follow. I have Girish, I don't know, and I really don't have idea who's the sons of Rishabhnath. We'll consolidate everything tomorrow on one slide. Don't worry about that. No, cutting plants is not violence, because once they're out of their roots, then that's a separate issue altogether. Gandhi was not a Jain. The trick to learn difficult names is very simply one each day. Nepal, Bhutan, following Buddhism, Jainism. Buddhism is there, Jainism, core India only. How many questions will come from this area? Quite a lot. I will show you. Don't worry. What about senses and touch regarding Jains? Can they explain? Senses you have, not touch, smell, taste, hearing. All these are called senses. 5 vrats are followed by the monks. They're called the Mahavrat. The people who follow is called Anuvrat, smaller vrats. Okay. When we cover ancient history, this week, medieval by next week. Okay. Thank you. Take care. See you tomorrow.